Good morning once again. Good morning. It's 5:05. 5:05 and I'm up and at it. I got shit to do. Kind of taking it easy a little bit since I got home from my solo survival. And yeah, look at that. Who's that young guy without the beard, eh? Man, I got home. Mrs. Outlaw's like, you look like you've aged 15 years. I said, thanks very much. But anyways, I'm not a huge fan of the beard like all year long by any means. And she's not a big fan of the beard at all by any means. She hates it. So priority number one when I got home was shave the beard off, get rid of it. So my future career is mall Santa. Not happening. Oh, that's hot. Don't keep an eye out for me in the mall. Won't be there. Anyhow, I'm taking it easy a bit because I hurt my back, right? I did hurt my back out on my trip, and probably haven't seen it yet on the videos, but you will. Kind of tweaked my back and had to take it pretty easy, as easy as I could, surviving out in the wilderness. But now that I'm home, I really got to sort of watch myself. And I did go for a hike the other day, and I showed you guys, I went into that same area where the stump was, and took a picture in there, and exact same group of trees, exact same tree that the stump was right beside. And I guess one of the logging companies came in and removed the stump. They must have brought a helicopter in and pulled it out of there, so it's gone. Okay? Imagine that. Imagine that, the stump's gone, right? Anyways, I was going to do a video in there, but it was pouring rain. Started pounding rain, and my camera gear can't really get wet. And I was just like, screw this, I'm gonna get out of here. So I headed back, and then I promised my lovely wife that I would take it easy for a little bit longer. So I'm just hanging out here with the green screen. I turn the green screen on behind me, and I'm gonna read you guys a couple emails because I'm gonna give it like another 3 or 4 days before I go out for a good hike again. And then also slowly sort of get back into it because I don't want to hurt my back again, man. I don't want to be like I was 5 or 6 years ago. I was bedridden for weeks, and I'm not going there again. So wait till I'm feeling strong, and then I'll get out. I'll start off small. I'll do maybe 5K or something, and then jump up to 8 or 10 or whatever. Just in increments, just because I don't want to overdo it. I want to take a minute, and I want to thank all of you subscribers that have been so generous in these super thanks to me. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that I certainly don't ever expect anything like that, but people are doing it out of the kindness of their heart, and they enjoy the content. You guys enjoy the channel, and they're giving me these tips. I call them tips. It's like tip because somebody mentioned that to me when I asked what they were. They said they're like a tip for good service at a restaurant. So I really appreciate that. It is so generous. And one subscriber, he's given me several of these, and like just mind blowing. Robert Dewey. Robert's from London. Been a long time subscriber. Great man. And Robert's given me several of these super thanks, and he's just like, you know what, Outlaw, I appreciate everything you do, and love the channel, and just put that towards some gear or what, take your wife out for a nice dinner on me, and whatever it is. And man, that hits right here. I appreciate it very, very much, Robert. Thank you so much. You're a wonderful man. And to all of you people that have done that in the past, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And to everybody else, it's not necessary by any means. You know what? Comment on the video saying, thanks, Outlaw, I appreciate your content, or appreciate your time. That's all I need. I'm here for you guys, and hearing that you guys are enjoying the content I put out and stuff, that's fantastic. I really appreciate it. And as far as emails go, I think I picked up 34 emails since I've been gone. So the emails keep coming. I'm going to keep reading them. If you don't like it, don't watch. If you do like it, watch. If you like it, leave me a comment, say you like it. That's more than enough for me. But anyways, thank you so much, Robert. You're a wonderful man. Thank you so much to everyone else, every single one of you here. really important to me, and I value you subscribing to the channel. Anyways, what else have we got on the go? Not a whole lot. This weekend I'm heading out to, Mrs. Outlaw and I are heading out to our cabin. A little bit of us time, a little bit of R&R time. Things have been busy for us lately. She was away with our daughters on a trip, and then so she was away for 2.5 weeks with our daughters on a trip, and then they were home for 1 day, and I left to go hunting for 3 weeks. So I was then gone for 3 weeks, and then I came home for 1 week, and we had very little time together, and it was a week and a bit later, and I was gone again, and just got home again. So we're going out to the cabin, and we're just taking some time to ourselves. Probably get a little bit of video for you guys out there, but I might go for a couple little hikes if it's nice or whatever, see how the back's feeling. But it's just R&R time. You know what? You need a little bit of that no matter what, because I ain't getting any younger. Keep telling myself I am, but I'm not. But lots of emails coming in, and as long as you guys want to keep hearing them, I'll keep reading them. And as long as people keep sending them, I'll read them. I have received a few, okay. Pretty wild encounters, pretty in-depth, wild emails. And I've been asked not to share those with the public. And that's okay. These people that have asked that, they're just not ready. And maybe one day they will, maybe one day they won't. That's their decision. I respect their decision. I'll never, ever, ever go against somebody's wishes. So I will not read those. You know who you are. And whether you want to share someday down the road, all you can do is fire me another email and say, yeah, okay, go ahead and share it. I think there's 4 that I've received that people have said, please don't share this. I'm just sharing it with you. Pretty wicked information. Some pretty detailed stuff. Some pretty new stuff that I didn't know anything about. But anyways, there's that. And I'm not going to share them right now. I just wanted to let those people know that the door is always open if you do decide you'd like to share it. So there's that. And while I was away, Miss Evelyn called me and left me a voicemail. So because she did so, I called her back and had an amazing half an hour, 40-minute discussion with her. And wow, she's what I call an earth angel. Never physically, obviously, I've never met her, but I met her on the phone, and what a fantastic, phenomenal, sincere, honest, caring, loving woman she sounds like. We had an amazing discussion. I called her back because she left a message, and I didn't want to leave it. I've got other people. I promise I will get a hold of you, but Evelyn left a message, so I thought, you know what, I better call her back and get that done. We're going to talk again. She does not want to go on camera. She does not want to do a FaceTime or Zoom or Teams interview. She said she's more than happy to discuss things with me. She's going to do up another couple of emails because she's had many encounters with these beings, with these people, like many close encounters. Like I'm talking 6 to 8 feet away. And she explained a lot of it to me, and I was just like, hang on, I'm trying to process this. Like, this is bizarre. This is just so, like, wow. But anyways, I will get in touch with her again. Thank you so much, Evelyn, for reaching out to me. And yeah, what an amazing person. Evelyn is First Nations lady. Grew up on a reservation and still lives there now. So pretty wild. So I'll get a hold of you again, Evelyn. We'll have another chat, and I'll share what I discuss with her, and I'll obviously share her emails, but no camera, she doesn't want to go on camera right now, which is fine. And I think that's it, you guys. I think that's it. before I babble on too much about absolutely nothing. I'm gonna try to get at least one email read here, maybe a couple. And I think I'm sitting at like 46 emails to read. So, I know that you guys wish we were out in the bush for a hike, so do I, but we're going to have to just deal with the green screen for now. And maybe I'll get out this weekend for a little stroll and read a couple more while I'm out there. So I think that's it. Here we go. Here we go. Glasses are going on. All you impatient buggers out there that can't stand to just hear a conversation. I know there's probably some stuff that I've missed, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Here we go. Next email. Hey Darren, my name's Ray Fredrickson and I live in Laird River, British Columbia. I love Laird River. I've lived here most of my life and absolutely love the North Country. Living in the North means you enjoy the outdoors at all times of the year, or you would definitely not live here. I'm an avid outdoorsman, always have been. I enjoy all sorts of activities from hunting, fishing, hiking, snowmobiling, ice fishing, and just being outside. I personally think that most hunters have heard the topic of Bigfoot at some point in their lives. I heard about these creatures many, many years ago, and most of the guys that I've hunted with have as well. I've heard some stories over the years, and although I've always been open-minded, my opinion was that these creatures were simply folklore or a myth. Now I know there's stories and drawings dating back hundreds and possibly thousands of years related to this topic, and I also know that many First Nations people in BC will attest to their existence throughout generations, and those are some of the reasons I've always kept an open mind on the topic. I've traveled all over northern BC throughout my career, and I've seen some of the most remote wilderness on the planet. Yet for 30 years running around the woods, much the way you do, I've never seen a sign of these beings. Well, sir, that all changed dramatically 6 years ago when I was traveling home to Laird River from Whitehorse. Once you leave the city, most of the drive home is remote highway, and about the only traffic you see at night are big rigs and the occasional car or truck. It was about 10 p.m., and I was on a fairly straight stretch of highway when out of the corner of my eye, I saw something on the right side of the highway just as it crested over the bank of the road. I was probably doing 100 kilometers an hour, and I let off the gas and got onto the brake, but it was too late. This thing was running at an amazing speed and grazed the passenger's fender of my truck. That was the least of my concerns, because as this thing hit my truck, I saw clearly out the passenger window that it was not a moose as I originally thought it was. It was a human-looking, hair-covered creature on 2 legs, not 4. Its waist was at the level of the window, and although I never got a look at the rest of it, I assure you, it was not a moose. As it came over the bank on the side of the road before we collided, I could see that it was like a massive man, but I honestly couldn't make out much more than that. My truck was now stopped and I looked in the rearview mirror, but I couldn't see anything on the road. I sat there for a minute and decided to turn the truck around instead of getting out and walking back there. Yeah, man, I was pretty scared. This big, tough bushman was scared shitless because I pretty much knew what I hit. I got the truck turned around and there was nothing there. No blood on the road from what I could see. I turned around again, shining my lights onto the road shoulder and into the bush, but there was nothing. I sat there for a few minutes and then continued driving towards home. And when I hit the next fuel stop, I stopped for gas and to take a look at my truck. The passenger fender was caved in and the mirror was ripped clean off, but there was no blood on the truck, no hair. I was shaken to say the least. I immediately started thinking, do I report this? Do I say it was a moose? I didn't know what to do, but I had to report it for insurance purposes. By the time I got home, I had decided I wanted to say it was a moose, as it happens all the time up here. It was late when I arrived home, and my wife was asleep, although she woke up when I got in bed. I decided to wait until morning to tell her what had happened. In the morning, I told Leanne exactly what happened, and she looked at me like I had two heads. I don't know how many times she said, "Are you serious right now?" But it was a lot. Leanne and I have been married for 28 years, and she knew me better than anyone, and she knew I was being honest. I reported the incident to the insurance and said I hit a moose so I could get the truck fixed. When I talked to my brother Brian about what had happened, I told him the truth. I can't repeat what he said, but there was an awful pile of cuss words. Brian was a lot like me. We spent a lot of time together outdoors, and after I told him the story, he said, quote, "I've always thought them effing things were real." Nothing has changed for me and my love for the outdoors. All that's changed is now I know these Bigfoot are not a myth, and they are not a myth, and they are not a legend. I don't blame anyone for doubting their existence. It's almost impossible to comprehend, especially if you're not one that spends time in the woods. Throughout our lives, we've been told by almost everyone that they aren't real. They can't exist. Where's the proof? I get it, because for most of my life, I was that person. I doubted, and I didn't believe the stories I had heard. Lots of people probably won't believe what happened to me, and I'm totally fine with that. I know what it was, and I'll take it to my grave. It's funny how this is generally not a topic you just up and discuss with your friends. But what's even funnier is what their responses are when you do. I've had some very good friends tell me what happened to them after I shared my story. Funny how the truth comes out when you're not being judged. Take care, man, and keep up the great work. I hope you have a safe and successful hunt, and can't wait to see the footage. All the best, Ray. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that, man. We all appreciate that. I don't think I've personally ever heard of one being hit by a vehicle. I'm sure it's had to have happened before, maybe trains, vehicles. I don't know, but that's the first time I've ever heard it. And man, I can just imagine. I hit a moose once with my truck up the Alaska Highway, a big moose, and you know, they're 15 to 17, 1,800 pounds. And, you know, these beings could be 500 to 1,000 pounds. So same type of a massive creature, right? And, but holy shit, imagine, and I know exactly what you're talking about, Ray, as out of the corner of your eye, mine came from the left, the moose. And I tried to stop and I nailed it with the front corner. So I know exactly what you mean, but to see one of these beings coming over the bank, that you're no time to react. And yeah, I'd shit my pants too, especially being that close to hit and you see it out the passenger's window. Unbelievable. So I really appreciate the share, Ray. Like to know if have you ever had anything else? Is that it? You know, have you ever had any other encounters or anything like that? If you have, you know, feel free to reach back out and let us know. Really appreciate it. I'm going to go for one more. I'm going to go for one more here. I hope this isn't too long. I hope this isn't too long. Okay, how long is this one? Holy cow. All right, well, whatever. Let me see if I got, maybe is the next one a shorter one. Let's see if the next one's maybe a shorter one. Yeah. Let's see this one here. Let's see if this is a bit of a shorter one. Boy, that's a long one too. Okay, whatever. You know what? We're going to stay in order here. We're going to stay in order. I hope you're ready for this. This is going to take a little while. Hey, Darren. My name is Bill Stanier, and I live in the great state of Tennessee on the fringe of the Smoky Mountains. I've had a few up-close and personal experiences with Bigfoot over the past 25 years. And it was after my second encounter that I started dedicating a great deal of my spare time trying to learn more about these beings. My first encounter 25 years ago was on a hike in the Smokies, and I was only able to catch a quick glimpse of the creature that let out a blood-curdling scream at my wife and I. We were on day 2 of a 3-day hike when this thing screamed at us, and I saw a flash of it running up the hill away from us. Unfortunately, we had no choice but to spend another night at a designated campsite, and thankfully, there was another group of hikers there that gave us some level of comfort. We did talk to the group and enjoyed a fire with them, but we didn't dare tell them about the scream and the creature that we had seen running up the hill. After this experience, I started to do some reading and research into these creatures, and that's when I came to the conclusion that they are not creatures, they are people. They are a people. 3 years later, I was on another hike in the Smokies with a buddy of mine for a couple of nights, and we both saw a Bigfoot as we were packing up our tent in the morning to start hiking. My buddy saw it first, and it was only about 60 feet away from us, squatted down in the brush, looking right at us. Glenn said, "Hey Bill, check that out. What the hell is that?" as he pointed at the being. Just as I got my eyes on it, this thing stood up and took off very quickly, running away from us. We could hear the loud thumps for only a second or two, and then all went quiet. This being was at least 10 feet tall and had reddish orange colored hair. It was very broad in the hips and the shoulders and moved very quickly. Glenn said, "Was that a wild man?" That was the first time I had heard that name used. I had read stories about the wild man, but I'd only ever heard them referred to as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. I said, "Yeah, I think it was Glenn." As we started hiking, I told Glenn about the encounter my wife and I had a few years previous. Glenn's reaction caught me off guard, as we were good friends and did a lot of hiking together. He said, "Yeah, I've seen them twice before in my life, Bill." Well, let me tell you, did we ever have some interesting conversations for the rest of that weekend getaway. I said, "How come you never told me this before?" And he said, "The same reason you never told me your story." I said, "Fair enough, but now we both let it all out." Glenn mentioned that he'd been looking into these beings as well for a few years now, and I said, "I've dabbled into it, and now I'm ready to really see what I can dig up." I've had 4 other encounters with them after these first 2, and I've gathered a lot of information I've gathered as much information as I possibly can, and I've categorized stories, evidence, geographical locations, time of year, number of beings, sex of the beings spotted, color of the beings, phenomenons that may or may have not accompanied the sightings, and so on and so forth. I will not for one second call myself a researcher in any form. I'm a man that loves the wilderness, and I'm absolutely fascinated with the topic of Bigfoot. I now have 6 binders full of notes and documentation, as well as well as examples of what I call scientific evidence. And I'm still learning more on a daily basis. I follow several YouTube channels that discuss Bigfoot, and I love to hear people's firsthand encounters, word for word, as there is so much valuable information that many people may not even consider significant. I'm not a scientist, Aaron, but I have drawn many of my own conclusions based on thousands and thousands of people's stories, etc. There's no way for me to share my binders of notes with you, but I can share a few of the conclusions I've come to. These creatures are a type of people, not an ape or a strain of an ape. I don't correct people when they call them animals, because in fact we are all animals. I believe these Bigfoot people have been in our forests all around the globe for hundreds or thousands of years. I firmly believe they are from this planet, but they have skills and abilities greater than we can even comprehend. Their cloaking ability is similar to that of lizards and other reptiles that can change their skin color and tone as we look at them. The only difference with Bigfoot is their camouflage abilities are far superior to even that of the reptiles that I'm talking about. This, of course, is strictly my opinion. I believe their size is partially related to the way they live. They carry muscle mass like a large bear does. Now, this doesn't explain their height. Why are most of them so tall? This is one I don't have an answer for. My opinion is that their skeletal makeup is completely out of our comprehension. DNA samples have proven them to have some female human DNA strands, but the male portion of the DNA has been proven unknown to the scientific world. There's many reports of orbs or other forms of light when these beings have been seen. I believe there are other life forms on other planets. I also believe that this has been proven scientifically. Could these other life forms have an interest in our Bigfoot? Could these other life forms possibly learn something from our Bigfoot people? Could our local governments learn something from these Bigfoot people? Could we as a society learn something from them? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm confident that the truth, if and when it comes to the existence of Bigfoot, has been and is still being withheld from the general public because the governments want to tap into their skills and abilities before we do. Could you imagine the average Joe or Mary learning the skills that the Bigfoot people have demonstrated over hundreds of years? In the wrong hands, this could be very dangerous and possibly deadly. I could literally go on for days and days with examples and comparisons with all the info that I've gathered, but I just wanted to share a glimpse into what I've done. It's funny, I've made a point of going out in the mountains for a hike with the intent of looking for a Bigfoot and having an encounter, yet it has never happened. The other times I go out, I'm not even thinking about them, they're not on my mind, and there they are. I firmly believe they know when a person has had a previous experience. They know, and that's when they'll choose to interact with you, but it's on their terms, not ours. They know if we're out looking for them, and that's when they'll choose to stay away. When you're just out for a hike and they aren't on your mind, they're there and watching you. I saw the video you made recently where you read an email in the woods and there was something there watching you. Then you posted a screenshot of it beside the tree. I've zoomed in even more and cleared that picture up and it's obvious. You don't even need any magnification of the original photo to see that this is one of these beings. You can see its entire body through the trees to the ground. Anyways, I better stop here or I'll ramble for hours and hours. Feel free to reach out to me, Darren, and I'll share more info if you'd like. We all need to keep sharing and listening. The truth will come one day. It may not be in our lifetime, but then again, it may. Take care, Bill Stanier. Wow. Wow. Was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. I've heard actually quite a few people in Tennessee say they've heard stories and some reports of sightings in Tennessee. So that part doesn't surprise me at all. The part that surprises me is the information that he's gathered from watching people, listening to encounters, gathering his own evidence and stuff. You know what? I'm not going to call you a researcher either, Bill, but you know, there's things that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about moose hunting and hunting big mule deer, and I've studied moose and big mule deer for 35 years, and that's why I'm successful. Is because it's my passion and I study it, and obviously this is your passion, and you can bet your ass I'm going to get a hold of you because I want to talk. There's a lot of stuff that you've said that I agree with. There's some stuff that you've said that blows my mind. So I'm going to reach out to you, man. I really appreciate the email. You guys don't ever think that an email is too long. If your email takes you an hour to type it out, just type it out and I'll read it. I don't care how long it takes. People get bored, they can beat it. I'm going to read it. So don't leave stuff out. If you've got stuff you want to share, put it in there and I'll read it. And Bill, if you're watching and you got more, send it in. Email it to me. I would love to hear it. I love hearing this kind of information because, you know, it just helps you sort of build, it helps you sort of put the puzzle pieces together. When you hear certain things, there's things you go, you know, I've been wondering about this. And then all of a sudden somebody says something and you go, I've been thinking about that too. And that's where I think these emails are really, really valuable. So Bill, thank you very, very much. Be safe out there in the Smokies. Okay. I say that to everybody, be safe wherever you go. But, you know, I've heard some stories about the Smokies and the Appalachian Trail and stuff, and be safe out there, man. That's it, you guys. That's probably taken a while. I don't even know what time it is, but I'm going to get going here. I got things to do, and then I'm heading for the West Coast. So thank you all. Be safe and be kind. Be a good person. Be a good person. You know what? It makes you feel better to be a good person. It's easier to be a good person than it is to be a douchebag. And we got no time here at Outlaw Country for douchebags. You're a douchebag, you get in the axe. Okay, thank you all. Appreciate every single one of you. And we'll see you in a few days. Okay, I'm out.